Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European outlook for today's second video. So it's also on a Thursday, we're having a detailed look at the weather for next week to 10 days across Europe, and I shall get on that for you. In a moment, just say that first video today was our 6 AM upload, and we've got 10 to 14 today of all of the red features coming up to you later on this afternoon. So please like, share, subscribe on the videos, and thank you so much everybody. Doing that, right, okay, European outlook time then. So this is how the setup is across Europe today. We've got a ridge of high pressure out to the west of UK and Ireland, pulling in cooler, cloudier northerly winds. The heat that we had across Western Europe has actually been pushed off over to the eastern side of Europe with the remnants of that ridge of high pressure that gave that heat going. There's the upper air temperatures showing that the heat now is through East Europe and extending northwards into particularly southern parts of Scandinavia, so especially like southern Sweden, but also southern parts of Norway, and just about making it in towards Finland as well. Pretty hot through there, and that heat does extend down the eastern side of Europe, then very hot through the Balkans, for example, towards the Black Sea, and then coming back through the Mediterranean. It's very hot there, particularly so in many parts of France. Conversely, it has cooled down a lot in the northwest, so Ireland much cooler, UK much cooler, and those cooler temperatures are edging in towards Norway as well, and to some degree in towards northern parts of France and the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands too. It's much hotter around those Baltic Sea countries of Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania than it has been throughout most of this summer as well. The heat really has pushed in up there. So precipitation-wise, looking like that. Generally a lot of dry weather across western parts of Europe. There is a little bit of damp issue parts of the UK, but much of Western Europe looking pretty dry. Ireland, UK, France, Spain, Portugal. There are some showers around the Low Countries and into northern parts of Germany. Some heavy showers and thunderstorms there. One or two across eastern parts of Germany too, and down in towards the Alps as well. But most places actually to the east of that are dry and hot, sunny. New thunderstorms perhaps being triggered by the heat across central parts of Scandinavia. Most of them looks dry as well today, as you expect this time of year. Really hot through Mediterranean and up the eastern side of Europe as well. So right back to Spain, Portugal in the west, all the way over to Greece and Turkey in the east, around the Balkans, northwards into eastern parts of Europe too. Very, very hot conditions through there. Out to the northwest, it is cooler through there though. So Ireland, Norway, UK, yeah, it's definitely a lot cooler through there. And even like France, it's still quite hot. Temperatures are beginning to drain away there a little bit. Notice how hot it is across southern parts of Sweden as well, and that heat is extending over the Baltic Sea and towards the northeast of Europe too. Right, so this is how things look tomorrow on Friday. That ridge is weakening over on the eastern side of Europe, but there will still be plenty of hot weather there. Meanwhile, out west, we've got a bit of a trough trying to push through the country. It's quite a complex scene. But it could turn a little bit wetter across parts of the UK tomorrow. So temperature-wise, upper air temperature-wise look like that. Very hot again through most of the Med, and particularly the southeastern portion of Europe. So again, around the Adriatic into the Balkans, down into the southeastern eastern part of the Mediterranean. Looks very hot through there. Romania, for example, can have a really, really hot day tomorrow with temperatures well into the upper 30s Celsius. Conversely, it is a cooler scene in the northwest. Most cooler temperatures are beginning to edge into parts of Scandinavia as well. Precipitation-wise, there could be some showery rain in parts of the UK and Ireland. Maybe some heavy showers getting going over northern parts of France as well. Further showers and maybe thunderstorms likely through some parts of Norway to Sweden. And those might push over the Baltic Sea into those northeastern states of Europe as well. Few funny showers over the Alps, but once more, lots of dry weather really across most parts of Europe, and very, very hot in the southeast corner. So again, the heat really going to be on in that southeast corner. Temperature certainly mid to upper 30 Celsius, maybe even approaching 40 Celsius. In one or two places from the Adriatic to the Black Sea. Most parts of the Med again look hot, especially so for southern parts of Spain and Portugal. Meanwhile, to the northwest, it will be quite a lot cooler through there. So again, Ireland, UK, Norway, temperatures will be lower, and those cooler temperatures will be edging further into other parts of Scandinavia like Sweden as well as we go through Friday. Saturday, we'll see a new area of low pressure developing in the Atlantic and deepening, starting to move towards the UK and Ireland. That will begin to allow a ridge to build over France, so heat will begin to start drifting northwards again from Spain in towards France, I think, as we get in towards the weekend. Meanwhile, the hot ridge over on the east side of Europe continues to break down. Look at those upper air temperatures, though, for Eastern Europe on Saturday. Very, very hot, if not, extreme heat there from, like, again, the Adriatic to the Black Sea. So around the Balkans in particular, Romania, again, it could be some extreme heat there on Saturday. Hot through the Med, and heat beginning to rebuild over Spain and starting to drift north into some parts of France as well. Beginning to get a little bit warmer over central France too. Meanwhile, for Scandinavia, for UK and Ireland, temperatures continue to look relatively modest, so upper air temperatures relatively modest. Precipitation-wise, there'll be outbreaks of rain moving to western Scotland and northern Ireland, but most western parts of Europe will be dry. Thunderstorms over Scandinavia gradually drifting eastwards through Baltic Sea in towards the northwest of Russia, and some heavy showers and storms could begin to generate over the Alps as well. Maybe some scattered thunderstorms through eastern parts of Germany and into western Poland too. Meanwhile, further south, most of the Med will be dry, hot and sunny, and particularly hot, of course, from the Balkans down into the eastern part of the Med. Again, very extreme heat there. Eastern part of Europe, from the Adriatic to the Black Sea, we could well be seeing temperatures approaching 40 degrees in some of those areas. Most parts of Med looking really hot too, but out to the northwest, it's going to be cooler for Scandinavia. Beginning to get warmer though through France, and that warmth trying to push northwards into some parts of England as well. On Sunday, a ridge is beginning to build through Western Europe, so Germany finds themselves under a ridge of low pressure ahead of this area of low pressure that's moving in off the Atlantic Ocean. So high pressure Germany, low pressure towards the UK and Ireland. Most parts of the Med looking hot again on Sunday. Upper air temperatures look like that. Really hot through the Med. Extreme heat across the eastern side of Europe. Extreme heat rebuilding from Africa over Spain and beginning to try and push back north into France. Again, looks a little bit ominous after what happened a couple of days ago, I have to say. Will that heat make it any further north? We'll find out in a moment. Becoming warmer through the UK as well. We've got 15 zones ice from there into southeastern parts of England. Just generally quite a warm scene, really, across most parts of Europe by certainly warm or very hot. Precipitation-wise, will bring outbreaks of rain into Scotland and Ireland. Some of those outbreaks of rain could be quite heavy and possibly push them towards Norway as well. Further thunderstorms over on the eastern side of Europe being triggered by the heat and humidity, but otherwise lots of dry, hot and sunny weather. Temperatures look very, very hot both in the east and southeast part of Europe and also increasingly through the southwest of Europe again. So the heat building again through Spain, Portugal, pushing northwards in towards central some parts of France in particular. To the northwest, it will be a little bit cooler for Scandinavia, but notice temperatures creeping back up again for England, for the Low Countries, for Germany, where temperatures are starting to push back up once more. So the cooler temperatures really restricted, I think, by certainly just to Norway and northern parts of Sweden and probably Scotland and Ireland as well. Monday, we'll find low pressure pushing through the UK and Ireland, and that will start to move that heat back eastwards once again. So the upper air temperatures look like that. We are pushing really hot air back up from Spain and the Med and North Africa through France into Germany and getting back into the Low Countries too. And anywhere east of that, it's already hot anyway, of course. To the northwest, it will be cooler for Scandinavia, although relatively warm across southern parts of the Scandinavian peninsula. And for UK and Ireland, actually, the heat doesn't really make it, and so we'll find cooler air beginning to come back in off the Atlantic Ocean. Lots of dry weather again through most parts of Europe, but there will be showers along as well as rain in the northwest to Scandinavia and down into Ireland and the UK. One or two rogue thunderstorms are possible in the east, triggered by the heat and humidity. Relatively cool for Scandinavia, Scotland and Ireland. Otherwise, it's either warm, very warm, or hot, particularly hot from Spain through France into Germany, so that getting into the Low Countries as well. And then, of course, it's never cooled down. It's just hot continuously across this eastern and southeastern part of Europe, particularly around the Balkans and the eastern Mediterranean, for example. Tuesday, we'll take that low pressure into Scandinavia. Looks relatively cool and unsettled there. We will try and build some higher pressure out to Western Europe, and again, most of the Med looking really, really hot. The upper air temperatures look like that. Very, very hot, right way from west, all the way over towards the eastern part of Europe. Extreme heat expected once again from Italy over the Adriatic into the Balkans, down into the southeastern part of Europe. It's going to be a phenomenally hot week there, with very little, very little reprieve. Out to the northwest, it will be turning cooler again for the UK and Ireland, and also in parts of Scandinavia too. Precipitation-wise, that area of low pressure bringing heavy showers or longer spells of rain across Scandinavia. Some of that wet weather could be of a thundery nature as well, given the energy within the atmosphere. Thunderstorms over the Alps too. Otherwise, Western Europe, a little bit of showery rain perhaps through UK and Ireland, but most parts of Western Europe dry. Most parts of the Med are looking dry, and much of eastern, southeastern Europe looking dry. And very, very hot there. Of course, there's the temperature forecast for Tuesday, really hot again through the Med and into that eastern part of Europe. A really warm scene across most parts of Europe, it has to be said, just the far northwest looking quite a bit cooler. Into Wednesday, high pressure is trying to rebuild across the UK and Ireland beginning to get going. Low pressure is in over Scandinavia, bringing cool and unsettled weather through there. Upper air temperatures again look very hot through most of the Med and into the east and southeast Europe, cooler out to the north and the west once more. Further heavy showers, longer spells of rain transferring from Scandinavia into those Baltic Sea states and possibly just to the far west of Russia. A few scattered thunderstorms developing through the Balkans as well, so maybe hints of a bit of wobbling going on by Wednesday across that southeastern corner. Meanwhile, out west again, quite a dry weather as that area of high pressure rebuilds. Very hot through the Med, very hot through the southeast and eastern part of Europe too. Cooler out to the northwest. Beginning to warm up again through France, so you'll notice he trying to push back northwards once again. And then into Thursday, this time next week again, we see high pressure ridging in to the west of Europe from the Azores high. The low pressure lifting out of Scandinavia. It's still quite cool across Scandinavia. Otherwise, most parts of southern Europe in particular looking hot, and that heat is trying to push back northwards again by Thursday. Another sort of dome of heat over North Africa and Spain into southern France, trying desperately to come back north once more. Heavy showers and thunderstorms over on the eastern side of Europe, with wet weather out towards the Norwegian Sea and the North Atlantic as well, beginning to move towards Norway. Otherwise, again, many parts of Europe will be dry and hot through France, Spain, Portugal, hot through the Med, hot into southeastern part of Europe, and then maybe the heat just easing down a little bit through the Balkans as most storms and showers begin to break out. Go further north, so coolest weather will be undoubtedly across Scandinavia. Notice parts of England, Wales and Ireland begin to get warmer again by Thursday. I'll just run you on to day 10. So that's Friday next week. Again, that ridge is trying to move in from off the Atlantic, or is ridging in from off the Atlantic. Low pressure, heat low over France, perhaps trying to bring some heat and humidity and unsettled weather back. As we go through the final weekend of July, 30th, 31st of July, we possibly see the ridge begin to break down, so signs something a little bit more unsettled into the north and west Europe, particularly so for Scandinavia, I think, less so probably for the UK and Ireland. Meanwhile, the heat will go on through much of southern, eastern and southeastern Europe right way to month's end. Okay, so it's going to be a very, very warm week, it must be said, across most parts of Europe. Really hot again across the south, as you'd expect through the Med, but particularly in that southeastern corner from the Adriatic to the Black Sea. Very extreme heat through there through much of the week. At times that heat will try and push back north, so there is some warm-ups going on there through parts of France, Germany, low countries at times as well. So we will try and see that heat, or that heat will try and push back, although for the far northwest, for the UK, for Ireland, and most of the time Scandinavia, it won't be that successful in the heat getting back. Right, okay, well that's it for this week's European Outlook. We'll do it all over again next week. We're going to be back later on in 10 to 14 days. That's going to include all of the great features, so come back for that then. But for the European Outlook for this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.